You won't believe what's happening right now, because December has erupted with a Forex boom so intense that many IQD and VND investors are calling it the biggest surprise of the year. And if you're watching this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at the global currency markets for the rest of 2024 and into 2025. It all started when analysts across multiple regions began noticing unusual momentum building behind both the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong, momentum that wasn't based on hype or speculation, but on real-time data emerging from government reports, monetary policy updates, and market signals that had been quietly forming for months. Suddenly, December is turning into the month where everything seems to be accelerating at once. Oil prices rising faster than expected, Iraq's banking sector implementing long-awaited upgrades, Vietnam showcasing new growth metrics far stronger than last quarter, and global liquidity shifting in a way that highlights both currencies at the same time. Investors who have been patiently holding their IQD and VND are seeing unusual alignment in the charts, tighter spreads, more stable trading zones, and an increase in international chatter about rate adjustments that analysts had previously dismissed as unlikely this year. Now, those same analysts are walking back their earlier doubts because the hard numbers simply don't lie. Foreign reserves have strengthened, budget targets are being met, and global banks are showing more activity around these currencies than they have in many months. What's making this even more interesting is the behind-the-scenes commentary coming from well-placed sources who claim that internal reforms in Iraq may have reached a level where international platforms are preparing for more visible updates. Meanwhile, Vietnam is pushing reforms faster than expected, targeting a more modern financial system ahead of their 2025 development milestones. These parallel developments are creating a unique December atmosphere, one where the markets feel like they're building towards something bigger, something investors haven't seen in years. Every day, more microsignals are appearing, fluctuations that indicate foreign interest, rate patterns that hint at upcoming adjustments, and cross-market trends that are all moving in the same direction. It's the kind of alignment that usually precedes a major shift, and the fact that it's happening simultaneously for the IQD and VND has experts paying close attention. Even traders outside the currency collector community are acknowledging that this is one of the strongest periods of synchronized momentum these two currencies have experienced together. And while no one is claiming an overnight revaluation, the seriousness of these developments is impossible to ignore. The timing, the data, the reforms, they're all converging right as December hits its mid-month window, giving investors a rare moment where optimism is actually supported by measurable economic activity rather than speculation alone. If this pace continues, December may truly be the turning point many have been waiting for. As the December surge gains more traction, more analysts are pointing to a series of global market signals that have been quietly forming behind the scenes and are now becoming impossible to dismiss, especially for IQD and VND holders who have spent months tracking incremental changes, but are now seeing those changes multiply at a noticeably faster pace. What's striking is how synchronized these developments have become across different financial platforms, institutions, and regions, creating a rare alignment where indicators from the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America are all pointing towards stronger currency positions for both nations. For Iraq, one of the biggest drivers has been its rapid modernization of the banking system. With new digital systems coming online, international compliance frameworks becoming more integrated, and stronger oversight structures bringing credibility to the entire monetary environment. Each of these reforms has boosted confidence not only inside Iraq, but across the broader Forex community, where reliability and transparency are valued more than anything. Meanwhile, oil revenue is becoming a major catalyst. Rising prices have injected fresh liquidity into Iraq's financial channels, helping stabilize reserves and strengthen budget projections for 2025. These improvements are being noticed by global rating entities, which contributes to the positive market sentiment, pushing the IQD into a stronger position. On the other side, Vietnam has been accelerating economic reforms that analysts previously expected to unfold at a slower pace, but the government's push toward a more digitally integrated, export-focused, investment-friendly structure has gone faster than anticipated. Manufacturing growth is outperforming expectations, foreign investment interest remains high, and new financial regulations are positioning the VND as a more stable long-term currency than many competing regional units. Investors tracking both currencies have noticed new trading patterns that suggest stronger institutional interest, reduced volatility, and external signals pointing to possible adjustments when major fiscal changes roll out early next year. These are not empty rumors. They're patterns observable on legitimate market charts. And although no one can guarantee whether these movements will lead directly to an RV or a significant rate shift, the underlying fundamentals have never aligned this cleanly in recent memory. The global financial community is paying attention because synchronized improvements across two developing economy currencies at the same time is uncommon, especially during a month as historically volatile as December. This level of stability during a typically unstable period is a signal on its own. And when you combine that with long-awaited reforms, rising revenue, expanding partnerships, and increased foreign confidence, the momentum becomes too substantial to overlook. Analysts who once dismissed the possibility of major end-of-year developments are now openly discussing the potential for early 2025 adjustments, strengthened rate indicators, and broader integration with global market systems. It's not hype, it's a documented shift in sentiment backed by measurable economic upgrades. December is shaping up to be the month where speculation fades and real data takes center stage. As we move deeper into this December wave, investors are realizing that what looked like a mild year-end increase has escalated into something much larger, with new confirmations emerging almost daily that Iraq and Vietnam are entering a phase of accelerated financial transformation unlike anything we've seen from them in years. For Iraq, the combination of rising oil income, digital banking upgrades, stronger international partnerships, and new regulatory frameworks has created an environment of financial confidence that is now spilling directly into Forex performance. Traders who once viewed the IQD as a static, slow-moving currency are now reevaluating its position as the government continues to activate reforms that bring Iraq closer to modern global standards. These steps are not symbolic. They are measurable changes that appear in transaction data, compliance reports, external audits, and foreign engagement metrics. Meanwhile, Vietnam is delivering its own wave of strong momentum, with export numbers beating expectations, supply chain integration expanding across Asia, and foreign companies increasing their footprint in Vietnamese markets. This combination of stability and growth is making the VND particularly attractive for long-term investors who see Vietnam as one of the fastest-rising economies in Southeast Asia. The more economic transparency increases, the more Forex platforms respond with stronger pricing stability, narrower spreads, and cleaner rate signals. Investors tracking both currencies are noticing that typical fluctuations are no longer behaving the same way. Instead of reacting randomly to global pressures, the IQD and VND are showing controlled, steady responses that usually indicate a currency supported by strong internal fundamentals. Analysts monitoring these patterns have noted that December may be acting as the setup month for early 2025 shifts that could include new rate adjustments, new market integrations, updated currency platforms, or expanded international recognition, depending on how each nation continues executing its economic agenda. And while nothing is guaranteed, the fact that this level of momentum is happening simultaneously across both currencies during the same month is exceptional. It suggests deeper structural improvements rather than temporary market noise, giving investors a stronger foundation for confidence. The most experienced traders are now watching every day of December closely because historically, when developing currencies show this level of synchronized movement, it often precedes larger announcements or market adjustments. Again, nothing is promised, but the timing, data, and policy developments all suggest that something larger is forming beneath the surface. So, if you're an IQD or VND holder, this is the moment to stay informed, stay focused, and stay connected because this December feels like the beginning